Oh, no. That's a trick question.
We've been covering Joe Matarese quite a bit on this program lately.
Interesting.
Because, did you watch it all when like Red Bar covered Joe Matarese heavily?
No, I've never really watched Red Bar.
So Red Bar was, kind of one of the first guys, or maybe the first guy to really go after Matarese and expose a lot of the ridiculousness that Joe Matarese gets into. So he took a break from podcasting for a while and then came back in November and was like, guys, I've figured it out. I figured out my format. We're going to talk about one topic, no guests. It's only going to be a half an hour. And that's going to be it. Each week, we're going to talk about one singular topic. And he kind of described that as revolutionary, as if no podcast had ever thought of that before. He's completely abandoned that 5 weeks in, as we documented. And now he's having guests. Can we, Cardiff, Hack, I don't know why I keep doing that.
Because we're the same.
One of you filter hacks. We can't play the Luis J. Gomez clip first. We have to wait based on the way you have them.
No, I can play it. What do you know? What it is called? The Luis Gomez.
It's called Naked Pictures of Mike.
I have Scopo opening bit. Italians.
Yeah, the Scopo thing.
Okay, yes, we can do that real quick.
Okay,
Here, hold on.
Let's play that. So this is, you may remember, the last we left you, we were talking about Chris Scopo, who Joe Matarese in episode 5 or 6 just announces, like, hey, yeah, by the way, this is my new co-host, Chris Scopo, and doesn't know anything about him or anything. And the title of the episode is New Co-Host, Chris Scopo. That's what he titled the episode. So in our next episode, I noticed Chris Scopo wasn't there, and I thought that's a little weird. So let me play you a little bit of why Chris Scopo might not be there. This is from a recent appearance on the Real Ass podcast with Luis J. Gomez, Lev Fur, and Zach Amico.
Right, no, you're very funny. I just feel like you should be
on Joe Matarese's pod now or something?
I had a couple guest host things. Yeah. I don't know what the deal was with that.
Joe Matarese.
I know.
You know, that's the equivalent of him filming your fucking sketch, dude. You shouldn't be doing Joe Matarese's fucking podcast. You're selling everyone that's watching from the outside. You're saying, "Hey, I'm a loser."
Yeah. Is it about getting back into comedy?
No,
I like the guy. He was nice.
I like Joe. Let me say this. Let me make this very clear, because it sounds like I'm trashing Joe Matarese. Okay,
but you are. I mean, you saying I'd rather be murdered than on camera with that guy?
Joe Matarese. I always thought Joe Matarese was kind of funny. Like when I started in comedy, I have a weird thing, dude. I just respect the elders, dude. When I came into it, dude, he was like a guy who was working like stand up New York and working the cellar. Dude, he always had funny enough jokes. Dude, he had a joke about fucking like I don't know, dude. I don't remember a song one of his jokes, but he was always funny enough. And Joe was a pro. He did TV, did his fucking thing.
Pro Matarese.
But I'm just saying. You know, he would say that. He would tell you, like, hey, dude, this isn't a good career move to be co-hosting the Joe Matarese podcast. That's crazy. That's a crazy career move if you're trying to do things in the industry. If you don't want to do anything in the industry, this sounds really... All right.
This sounds bad. You gotta edit. You gotta edit this out.
You can't edit this.
Edit all the Cuomo stuff.
You gotta edit this out. Yeah, come on.
None of this has been me. This is what we're all...
I'm just kidding. Don't edit any of it. But
I've edited it.
But I mean, it's all hilarious.
It's all good fun. Did you ever see what...
I'm not shitting on Joe Matarese.
No, not at all.
He's a pro. He's funny. But I mean, you know, come on, dude.
I've never...
The idea, just give him a talking to. He's like, listen, Joe Matarese is a great guy, but seriously, come on, what the fuck are you doing? So Matarese can't catch a fucking break. Even like the people he has co-hosting his podcast are on other podcasts being like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, man. It's like someone that's talking about an addiction or something. They're like, I don't know. I got to get my shit together. I was on Joe Matarese's podcast.
It's maybe we get Stuttering John and Joe Matarese together.
The internet would love it. That would be a lot of fun, I think, if those two got together. A couple of Matarese's Jersey. I was going to say a couple of Long Island.
Oh, it wouldn't work then. No, you'd have to be... We need someone from Long Island, because only someone from Long Island knows how to talk to someone from Long Island.
That mentality. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so let's get into Matarese's pod. These are from episodes 6 and 7 of his podcast, where he found another new co-host named Marta something. I don't know who it is.
This is when we're on.
Shut your phone off. Shut your phone off, Marta.
That's just how it starts. Nothing was cut out. That's how the episode starts. where it's him telling her to shut the phone off. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a silly, like, hey, she has her phone on, but it's 9 seconds long, and then the intro music starts.
Yes, can we watch again? Because I think he gets angry.
Yeah,
His face, yes, his face turns.
This is when we're on.
Shut your phone off. Shut your phone off.
Why would you leave that in? If you just please shut your phone. They're not live. There's literally no reason to have left that in.
I don't know what. It's weird. It's strange seeing a show like that not in this format, like the one camera sitting beside each other. Like that just seems like it should be a Zoom show. I've never watched the show, but that seems like it should be a Zoom show. Nothing more.
Probably. So, well, you know, that's the thing about Joe Matarese is you lose the magic, the chemistry. When you're in the room with him, it flows so much better because you guys are zinging and zanging. He's so crazy that only in the same room can you match his energy, you know?
Yes, next up we have Italians.
Yeah, so this is the new Joe's revelations are always like repeating. They're on repeat for some reason. Because a few years ago, he realized that his career was an uptick when he was opening for Sebastian Maniscalco and talking about more Italian stuff. Like, for whatever reason, like in the algorithm, that really helped him a lot. And then he stopped doing it. Like, he just lost, I don't know, motivation to do it, I guess. And then, out of nowhere, years later, he realizes this, what he's about to talk about.
You want to go and see me live? You're going, where's Joe Matarese going to be performing? Here's some of my dates. And you're going, what's the Italian comedy night? Believe it or not, this is going to sound pathetic, but it's working.
Hold on. Go back.
I played Pottstown.
I want to hear what's going to sound pathetic. But I like the idea that you see Italian comedy night and your mind, you can't comprehend it intellectually. You're like, that's got to be... Are you flying me to Italy? What could it be, Joe? Obviously, it's fucking guineas doing comedy, telling their yucks. What else could it be? You're probably looking at the words Italian comedy night and thinking, this must be quantum physics. I can't grasp it.
It is weird to see Pottstown now anytime I see it. I'm like, hey, I know that.
He's going to be performing. Here's some of my dates. And you're going, what's the Italian comedy night? Believe it or not, this is going to sound pathetic, but it's working. I made an Italian comedy show, and I tour with a couple other Italian comics, and I can't believe how many more people are coming to see me live just by putting the word Italian on the thing. And then what's classic is we show up and and we're very non-Italian when we show up. Like that's kind of the hook of our show.
Oh, that's good. So we dupe people into showing up.
This is the formula. You can do the ethnic comedy tour. So you pick your ethnicity. Yep. You learn, 12 or 13 words in old world dialect. You make jokes about your nonna and how she used to throw slippers at you, and you got the crowd roaring. They're on your side the whole time. It's perfect.
It's hilarious to be like, and we don't do any Italian shit. We have fooled the audience. And on another level, what he's saying is like, so I realized putting my name on the posters weren't working. So what I've done now is just said, hey, don't worry about who individually is performing. Just know that they're Italian. And then they'll leave disappointed, but they'll be there. That's the point.
The next poster should just be the Italian flag and dates. Comedy.
With your mother's Sunday gravy on the front. That's what's most important, is these dumb gindaloons will show up no matter what dago you put on the poster. That's all. You just need a last name that ends in a vowel, because these idiots will come in droves no matter who's performing.
Next we have Joe Rocks.
So Joe has a lot of other passions. Like stand-up wasn't always he could have failed at in his life. And that's what he's going to tell us in this episode.
And then I come right back to about 8 minutes from my house on the 27th of December. And between Christmas and New Year's, everybody's off. Pelham, New York. I'm doing a show with my friend's live band who lives 2 doors down from me. I'm doing stand-up. He's doing some original music.
Wait, was that on the poster?
Actually rock it out together.
I think this is a separate date. I don't think this is
No, was that the last date on the poster? Was it Pelham?
Oh, I believe so.
Yeah, so he's putting his
right back to about.
He's got his music on the poster. That's the bottom one there. Was Pelham?
Oh,
so he's got his band on the Italian comedy night poster.
Well,
my house.
here's the thing: these Italians, they don't know how to read. They just see the they see there's going to be fucking chicken parm there, and they'll show up.
We're really gonna fool them.
27th of December. In between Christmas and New Year's, everybody's off. Pelham, New York. I'm doing a show with my friend's live band who lives 2 doors down from me. I'm doing stand-up. He's doing some original music.
Already,
Then
this
we're
is
gonna
a
actually
terrible.
rock.
I'm doing a show with my neighbor. Now, I'm going to assume his neighbor is not John Mayer, who's skilled at both music and comedy. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that that's not who it is, because his name apparently wasn't worth mentioning. So Joe is still, he never gets out of his own way, where he's like, guys, you know what you really want to, everyone's home for Christmas, so you don't have an excuse, like he's locking us into plans. Like, ah, fuck, he got us. I'm free that night.
And I'm going to do impressions of all my teachers from 1st to 8th grade. You're going to love it if you went to my high school.
Oh, my neighbor's going to be there. I've got a funny uncle that might come up on stage. It's a lot of fun.
And all gearheads take note that Blind Mike called John Mayer is skilled at comedy.
You know what? I'm glad you pointed that out, Hackrad. I noticed it the second I said it. What I should have said is he's skilled at music and does comedy.
He does enough comedy to get hot women. That's it.
Yeah, he's friends with Dave Chappelle is what I should have said.
Get out together at the end. So 12/27 for those tickets.
Yeah. So the Italian comedy night is very exciting. If you're in Jersey for Christmas, make sure you see that.
Joe Matarese might be my next stuttering John. Thank you for bringing that to me.
You've seen nothing yet, Cardiff. This guy's amazing. All right, next one up, show prep.
Yeah, so Joe likes to let it rip. He's going to tell us about his process. That's always exciting.
Like exactly what? What are some? What would you say? What's your biggest credits?
Writing. Oh, my biggest credit.
Biggest show running credit.
I mean, there are a lot there. You know, I do all the Love and Hip Hop reunions. I did the Kids' Choice Awards for a while. I created the Long Island Medium.
What's the Long Island Medium?
It's literally in the name, Joe. It's titled What It Is, you dickbag.
Started as a large, and we followed her weight loss journey all the way to a medium.
Do they live in the middle of Long Island? What's going on here?
What's with the books?
Another show on TLC. We just found an average-sized woman. And we're following her around Long Island.
What are the books for? In front of him.
He puts the books up, I think, to seem smart. Like he has Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad on there, and I think that's his way of being like, "Hey, gang, I invest. You know, the money that you give me on YouTube or Patreon, I'm putting that back in. I'm reinvesting that. That's going to be my kid's future."
He's got George Carlin's book, Chris Rock's book. Like, what's he?
He's learned from all the greats.
Oh,
What's funny is I believe, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe the studio that he uses, other comics use for their podcast.
It's a library?
Well, it's funny to just imagine Joe setting up those books and then having to take them down at the end of the show.
Yeah. Dirk Diggler had a lot of books too. Sometimes they're just dressing for a room.
But it's great, like, essentially, like, not knowing what the Long Island medium is as if I had Cardiff on today, and I was like, and you cover, what is it, Bobo from the Opie and Anthony show, Cardiff, is that right? Is that what you focus on mostly? Yeah. Just like having no idea who the fuck you're talking about.
Our show, we had a 10-year run. It was on TLC with Teresa Caputo.
Okay.
10 years of bullshit.
People. It was very exciting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a definite stressful job. He wants you closer to the mic.
Why do you? Okay.
You know how to look? It's on a.
I understand. I just stop.
Just bickering with the guest.
He's
but it's also
got
interesting.
He's got some Andy Dick energy. Gonna be honest. He's got some weird energy.
Maybe you'll see John at the Salvation Army. But he does it like, it's also interesting to me to have never heard, you don't know what a medium is, and then you find out for the first time, and your response is just nice.
That must have been a lot of work.
It's not like, oh, so you were a bullshit artist, you know? You might riff on something, Joe, you know? Just
how do you mic the spirits? How do you get there?
Mic the spirits.
But Mike, he is learning. That is the next clip.
Okay, good. Well, so we've criticized Joe because he keeps repeating the same mistakes in podcasting. So maybe finally he gets it and realizes he shouldn't listen to every single comment he gets every week.
Also want to tell people out there, a lot of the listeners and the watchers of the podcast have connected with me because I'm very accessible. And they're like, you're too nice. You're very nice on your podcast. You're a nice guy. You and Mike are nice. Podcasting needs like somebody who's kind of sweeping the leg. That's what they said.
Okay.
And so I don't know. I think I said that to you in a text. I said, so feel free to just shit on me. And I think you'll naturally do that.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with the sweater.
Yeah, but so she, I didn't eliminate any funny jokes. She's not great at it. But what's great about Joe is like every 1 week he'll be like, there's no negativity on this podcast. It's all about helping people. And then he's like, I got 3 comments that said I should be an asshole. So I'd like to start being mean on the show if you wouldn't mind.
So I brought a premenopausal woman in here to roast me on my sweater.
A woman who hasn't done comedy in like 20. I guess she started as a stand-up and then became a showrunner, like worked for fucking Nickelodeon. So Joe's like, hey, I know what I need. I need to recreate the magic of Fixing Joe with Artie Lang, Anthony Cumia, and Jim Norton. And I'm going to have some, older woman that has worked on the Kids' Choice Awards to roast my shirt.
And I got I got to thank Yenzen for the inspiration for that joke. Thank you, Yenzen.
Thank you, Yenzen.
It's killing the chat. All right. Up next is Joe's big idea.
I don't steal from the chat without crediting, okay?
Thank you, buddy. Well, I think Joe has I believe this is where he's talking about the reality show idea he had. Like, he frames the podcast like they're revisiting his show that got canceled by NBC, when I think it's just something he threw out in a pitch meeting once, and they spend a minute and a half on it. So the title was a little misleading, but this is him talking about his massive influence idea he had.
I know. So you had a deal at NBC, so you could only be a producer on your own show. Tell us the concept.
So it was
this
like
is fascinating.
It was hidden camera before anybody did any of these punked type shows.
Okay.
So the show was going to be a DJ company, and we were going to cast it. And I was casting it with all my comedian friends that I thought would be good at fucking with people, basically, because I always come up with these hybrid ideas. They're never straightforward. So the idea was cast actors to play these different kind of DJs for this DJ company. It's all scripted, but we're going into real parties.
I love that.
And the people don't know it, and they're getting punked as it's happening. So imagine actors are the valet guys, and they don't realize it. They're being fucked with immediately. It was very
watch guys.
Tony and Tina's.
Tony and Tina's
so it's
wedding.
Borat meets Tony and Tina's wedding.
I'm going to play a track that's 120 beats per minute, right into a track that's 90 beats per minute. It's going to be hilarious.
People won't know what the fuck to do.
They'll be dancing, and all of a sudden they'll miss a step. It'll be hilarious.
Oh, the bewilderment on their faces.
Sorry to bring it back to John, but have you seen the clip that's going around of John's punked style reality show that he was pitching?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was called A-Holes. The clip that's on Reddit is literally him with a string on a dollar bill standing on top of an escalator.
I'm just picturing him in black and white, like Ashton Kutcher. Like, all right, today we put a whoopee cushion on the boss's chair.
And wait.
It's so good to see you back, Mike. Oh, this is amazing.
Watch this, guys. There's a buzzer in my right palm.
Don't smell the
I
flower.
meet the next person.
The flower might squirt you in the eye.
Oh, that's great. But yeah.
I've got this one. You know those Jack in the Boxes?
Yes.
Where I give the Jack in a Box to a kid.
Yeah.
And you cranks it up, and when it jumps out, it sprays bleach in their face. It's hilarious.
Got him.
I love the 80s.
Essentially, Matarese's idea. Oh, we'll finish the clip. Sorry.
Meets Joe Matarese. This is a fantastic. Is this not a great show idea? I would pitch it now. I would pitch it now. What was the name of it?
It was called The B-Side.
I liked it better when it was called Dick's Last Resort, is essentially what he's pitching. Like, imagine if you went into a restaurant and they were kind of rude to you.
The B-side. So I'm assuming he was a DJ at one point in his
life.
He
talks a lot about, I guess when he was 19, he was a DJ. And one of the things he talked about was, I guess he had a DJ crew. It was like him and a couple other guys were DJs. And they called themselves the Dynamite Crew or something like that. And they walked around with sticks of dynamite, he said. I hope fake, but...
I've been at the wedding table with the DJ more than once in my life.
Yeah.
They're not interesting people.
Well, Joe evolved into different types of bombing after his dynamite career. But what's next, Hack Fried? I just love the idea of Joe being like, hey, we're somewhat rude to people at a wedding, and we're just going to film their reactions. Holy shit.
This one's called Sexy Joe.
Oh yeah, Joe's he loves the idea of having a woman. He's clearly a sex star in a sex-starved marriage of some kind.
Sorry, I got to bring this back to Stuttering John again.
Oh, please.
Do you remember his failed wedding roasters business?
That sounds more familiar, but I don't know if I remember it.
He started a business, I think he had the website weddingroasters.com or something like that.
Okay.
Where you would pay him to go to your wedding and roast people.
Boy,
basically,
isn't
look at the bride. She's
wants.
so fat.
It was just a ploy to get free alcohol for life.
Yeah. So he was going to package himself with guys like this, with the DJ. It was going to be a whole package. You get the DJ, you get the wedding roaster, you get the catering, all in one place.
Give me John and Scott, the engineer. I'm in.
Well, you know what a bride would really like? Imagine if you filmed that, and that's what Joe Matarese provides.
Oh.
So.
Well, somebody said, like,
Look at that.
You have muscular arms. Why don't you show them off? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm doing the comedy thing, where a hot girl doesn't want to show her boobs. Like, I work out, so I have muscular arms, but I don't want you to see them when I'm upstairs.
Oh, no. Come on. You can't take it off and then put it back on. Come on. Yeah, don't know.
Matarese closing his robe, metaphorically.
I'm embarrassed. I haven't lifted in like 5 days.
Oh, Joe, don't worry.
5 days.
It's very funny that I think on some level Joe thinks like he could have been the Matt Rife of his generation, but he's like I'd rather I'm about the craft of comedy. I'm not gonna be reduced to some just piece of meat that women are ogling.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, thank you for. I really haven't heard much about Joe in many years. I think someone in the chat said, yeah, Artie used to talk about him. I think he used to tour with Artie.
He did,
shows with Artie, yeah. But I never really knew of him. I knew the name, but that was it. But thank you, Blind Mike Geary.
Oh, please check him out. He's of this iteration of his podcast. He's only got like 7 episodes, I think, so far. But
one day when Joe Matarese is cursing you out for introducing the potato, this fucking potato won't leave me alone. He's calling my mother.
And then I'll know. I'm like, oh, it was all real. It was Cardiff. He was pulling the puppet strings.
Up next, we have What a Tease.
Oh, yeah. This is him floating out his new idea, but also Cardiff, now that we're introducing you to the world of Joe Matarese, you might have a special coming out, buddy. So buckle up.
Thank you.
Ding.
I had one of our super fans, Ron Poliquin, who is a great guy. He had a suggestion because I like to talk about these old nostalgic topics.
That's, by the way, for the people that have been with us through this entire process, Ron Poliquin may have been the same guy that slept over his house. I don't know if you heard us talk about this, Cardiff, but he had a fan sleep at his home because the guy messaged. Joe's a guy that got trolled relentlessly for a long time. Like, Porcelain has made 3 documentaries about the trolling of Joe Matarese.
Wait, does he have kids?
As a matter of fact, he does.
All right, perfect. He's got all the things I need.
Oh, and Cardiff, you're gonna love going after him. They're very bullyable.
Good.
But this is a man, like, even John. I don't even think John is this dumb. Well, maybe he is. But someone messaged Matarese and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Jersey for the weekend. I need a place to stay." And Joe brought him into their house, with the Matarese home, with his family, and let him sleep in the guest room. Anyways, that's Ron.
It's like the Mick Foley
special.
story.
It's called Mullets and Mixtapes that I've filmed a year ago and still isn't done. and it's been that was a hard editing the trailer to that. But he said you should like bring back like an episode and call it like callback, and put it at the end of the episode. And I said I love that idea, so I started thinking of different ones. And for this first time doing callback, I brought up the name Howard Cosell.
That's very exciting. So if the idea of the callback was too hard for you, laymen to understand,
simpletons.
yeah, basically what it is every week Joe's gonna tweet out, "Hey, do you guys like Howard Cosell, or did you like Cheers?" And then people are gonna call the voicemail and be like, "As a matter of fact, I did like Cheers. I was a Cliff Clavin man myself."
Norm.
And that's the whole thing. It's as if Carl's voicemail line segment was solely about something from 1976.
Fuck, you Boston guys can't stop talking about Cheers, huh? That's all you have.
I do talk about Cheers a lot. You're right, Carl.
The next one is called alliteration.
Oh, this is funny where Joe just can't so they're talking about Howard Cosell, and someone he got a couple of voicemails, and one of the person said I loved his alliteration, and that's a concept that is lost on Joe.
What are the word? I don't know. He used a great word because that's what he was. He was Dennis Miller before Dennis Miller. If you think about it, he was a wordsmith. He would say words like, "Let me think."
Oh, he said alliteration. He said he used alliteration. He didn't say the word alliteration. He used alliteration.
Yes, but that sounds like a Howard Cosell word. Alliteration.
You don't.
He's remarkably retarded.
Yes.
Right, Mr. Believer, Professor Higgins, if you will.
He just thinks that the word alliteration was part of Howard Cosell's intro every week. Like, the alliteration of Joe Montana. It's like, no, that doesn't make any sense, Joe.
Do you know what alliteration is?
I'm just guessing it's good vocabulary.
No,
What
it's
does it
not.
mean?
Mike, do you know what alliteration is?
Who are three people who have not been in my kitchen?
With a meeting of another behind it?
Nope, guys.
Wow.
Alliteration is when you use the same first letter in a word and you like charming, courageous, and curious Joe Matarese.
Oh, so
it's using the
She didn't do
same
it
letter.
quite
Yeah, he has like
Yeah.
alliteration.
tempo to the way he's talking, like it has like a
Yeah.
That's cool. That he
That's
does
basic.
That.
Like that's
not easy
that's
to
eighth
do.
grade English.
But who the hell talks like that?
Moral.
Howard Cosell, you
Howard
jackass.
Cosell, yeah, the guy you were talking about.
It was like when he goes, that's cool. It felt like when you were teaching like Robin Williams in the movie Jack. Like you almost feel bad for the guy, where you're like, oh, he's really just a boy learning how to pretend to be an adult. You're like, oh man, that's really cool. And he gets all the letters to sound the same at the beginning of the word. How does he do that? Is he a magician?
You know what got? I was sitting there watching, and I'm sure Hackwright will be able to put this together for you in a future episode. But remember the Ben Stiller character in
Simple Jack?
Simple Jack.
Simple Jack, yes,
Yeah.
Simple Jack.
Yeah.
I got a lot of that vibe off of him.
You
Yes.
make me happy.
Going forward.
There is a
All
little
right.
bit of
Wacky Open is the next.
Yeah, so this is the next episode, and this is what Joe has been doing. So he again, like, he stuck to his guns on this, where he's like, every episode's only going to be half an hour, basically. But what he's been doing is making people stay for an hour and just
Like
doing
what,
two.
like what you're doing to me.
But at least I'm putting it out as one episode.
Oh.
What Joe's doing would be is like, if I split this up into 3 or 4 episodes, and next week was like, guys, Cardiff is back with us. Would you believe it?
Wearing the same hat.
So Joe did that with Chris Scopo, and then at the end of episode 5, teases like, hey, and Scopo's going to be back with us. He's the new co-host. Then episode 6 comes around, and it's Marta. Scopo's just disappeared. He must have heard the Luis J. Gomez podcast or something.
Hold on, be right back.
Okay. Because Scopo is gone. I'm curious what Cardiff is up to now.
Oh, it's okay. I'm here, Mike. Hey, look at that.
All right.
Pop right in.
All right, yeah.
All right.
So let's see the. Now we saw the open of episode 6, where it seemed to be like I don't know, a mistake that it was in there. The start of episode 7, I thought was the same thing, but shame on me for underestimating the brilliance of Joe Matarese.
Look at Cardiff. He's got a. Cardiff came back with a Santa beard on. It's amazing.
This will help you cut it up like it's a different episode.
Oh, that's fun. Hey guys, welcome back to the Blind Mike Project. It's a happy New Year, everybody. We're joined by Cardiff Electric.
Did I screw up?
I have to stop forgetting I have this Santa filter. This is like my one. I've got like 2 weeks to use this.
I like it.
Did I
You guys can get that tonight, by the way, on potato/Tukey soup on the Cardiff Electric channel.
Did I screw up? Did I screw up?
What do you mean?
Do you have somebody to pick up Luke?
This is just the start of the podcast.
Okay. Who's going to pick up Willa?
Just going to Abby's.
Okay.
But he has the comedic genius to put on speaker.
All right.
Oh, she was in on it. That's the big reveal. I know you're recording. Now, my question to Joe would be, what's the payoff on your end? She's like, hey, it reminds me of when John Mulaney talks about this guy, Walter Jacobson, who was like a newscaster in Chicago when Mulaney was a kid, I guess. And he goes, and he would do these wacky bits where he would pretend to be a homeless man and grill people that are walking by, like not donating. And they'd say, man, you're Walter Jacobson. And they just move on with their day. And that's what it feels like when Joe's pranking his wife here, where he's like, I've got the phone on speaker. And his wife's like, yeah, I know you're recording. And then they just do the intro of the show.
You got me again, Joe.
Oh, and that, Cardiff, if you get into Joe Matarese, what you're really going to love, watch the porcelain documentaries. Because what you'll find is his wife tries to be as supportive as she can of his career, but really resents it. Because it is not taking off in the way he keeps promising it will.
I would rather not watch the porcelain documentaries and then just do Joe Matarese for a couple of years and then go back and watch and see if I came to the same conclusions as the
honestly,
porcelain documentary.
You know what? I always tell people, if you can, if you know someone that hasn't seen Breaking Bad, have them watch Better Call Saul first and see if it all lines up correctly. If you watch Better Call Saul, then Breaking Bad, that's what you could do with the Joe Matarese story.
Like watching the Star Wars trilogy or whatever, watching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Or as we like to say here in Boston, like watching Frasier before Cheers.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, enough about you. Is the next clip?
Oh yeah, that's where Joe always has a guest on, but like, hey, come on, we got to bring it back to the man here.
I'm the derailer.
Marta, so let me tell you, because
Tell me about what's been
Joe
going
Matarese
on.
show definitely is a little bit of a narcissistic program. It's like it would be nice to sit here.
So
It would be nice to sit here and interview Marta and figure out everything she's been doing and promote. But it's like that's not
That's
what
not what this is about.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about you, Joe. Joe, tell me what's been going on. What did you do this last weekend? You said something crazy happened with your wife.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell.
It's great to have a guest on, and pipe down, Cardiff, while I get this out. It's great to have someone on and be like, I made you come here out of your way to do this show. I don't give a fuck about you, though. We're really talking about me. I just need a pair of ears to talk into.
Can I talk now?
I guess.
I agree.
Potato soup tonight, folks. What time is that again?
10 or 10:30.
See, I'm better than Joe
Depends when I
Matarese.
get home from dinner.
Okay.
All right, up
So
next
just follow me on your GPS. When I'm close to home, everybody knows my address now. When I'm close to home, tune in.
Guys, go to Hamilton, Canada, or wherever the fuck John says you're from. Yeah.
we got you, Duransky. All right, up next, Naughty Talk.
Oh, so Cardiff, you need a little background here. Joe's brother reached out to him
I've got a
last
background.
week.
It's Carl's basement.
It's very good. Joe's brother reached out to him last week, and he said the problem with your podcast is you don't curse enough. He's like, man, I like it. I like the show a lot better when you say like fuck and pussy. This is legitimate. Like this was the brother's legitimate criticism. Yes, and Joe has tried to abide by this, so we see now that he is like trying to live up to his end of the bargain here.
this goes back to my brother who said, "Stop being so clean on your podcast. Say pussy, say dirty words, curse more, all that shit." So I try to drop it in. Pussy.
Wait, do that in your one?
Pussy. Whoa, dude, that's
I'll never
that's
come
the
again.
clip. Everyone just watched the episode.
Is it? Did I just
He's a 60-year-old man. Like, guys, will you please watch me if I say the word pussy over and over again? What are you
Yes, I
doing,
would.
Joe?
Yes, I would.
Is that worse than Stuttering John's hemorrhoid gags? I don't know.
No,
Or the
I don't
same.
think so. I don't think so. Yeah.
And we have two
I like Joe saying pussy a little better than John's. At least he's not acting it out the way John is like, oh man, my roids.
I definitely didn't like Marta saying pussy.
It was uncomfortable.
I was not a fan of that.
And we are to the final clip called Next Call Back.
Oh yeah, so we heard last week was Howard Cosell. Then this week they get into some even more salacious topics. Something that's you're gonna want to put in the thumbnail. It's what gets the kids into the show.
All right, hold on. Let me write that down. Here we go.
Today's callback, and I started thinking about this, and something I miss a lot is a night when we were young where you would watch all the shows on a network back to back to back to back from 8 o'clock till 11. You would watch all of them, usually as a family, right? Did you watch TV with your mom and dad? Because I did.
No.
So Joe's topic du jour is he throws it out on Twitter to all of his fans and says, call and leave me a voicemail about when you watched more than a half an hour of television. Just call in, and that's going to be the fodder for the day. So, imagine you watch 2, 3, 4 shows in a row. Talk about that into my voicemail, and then I'll just riff on it.
TGI Fridays, go.
Well, Cardiff, you're joking? The topic was must-see TV on NBC.
There you go. Okay.
And then they get it wrong the whole time. He's like, yeah, Frasier was a staple. It wasn't. It was on Thursdays for a little bit, but then it was on Tuesdays mostly. Like, he just gets all the shows wrong. And then when anyone else would mention a show, like, I think the producer goes, Mad About You was in that lineup, and Joe goes, nah, not really. It's like,
I skipped that one.
Where are we going with this, Joe?
So what I'm talking about is when you watch from 8 to 8:30 and then 9:30 to 11. That's
Imagine sitting down and watching a marathon of TV. Those were the good old days. It's not like now when people literally put on a show for the entire day. You can just stream. The first season is done by the afternoon because you can just stream whatever the fuck you want. I'm talking about the good old days when you watched an hour and a half of television.
Yeah, he's going to be fun. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Hey, Cardiff.
Blind Mike Geary.
What's mine is yours. I've taken enough from you, you know?
That's true.
I have a fucking guy with a filter doing wacky games at the end of my show. You're more than welcome to take Joe Matarese.
Ew.